Relax. This isn't the real moon landing. But some people actually think NASA filmed it exactly like this. But here's the part most conspiracy videos never mention. During the real moon landing, the astronauts accidentally broke a piece of the lunar module while climbing out. And that tiny piece? It was the ascent engine arming switch. That was the main switch, which was going to be used to take off from the moon. But you must be wondering, what the fuck was all that? It was just a Hollywood set.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
White House, 1961. The exact moment the Cold War stopped being fought on Earth and moved into space.
Sir, Soviet Union just made us look like a 3-year-old kid with a dildo in his hand. They just launched the first artificial satellite into the space.
What the fuck?
When I'll do anything, I'll do whatever it takes to...
Sir.
Fuck off.
Before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Back in 1961, Kennedy's announcement felt completely unbelievable. Imagine trying to land on the moon with no internet, no smartphones, just giant, crappy 1960s computers. And to make this insane dream real, the US government poured the modern equivalent of $100 to $150 billion straight into NASA. And instantly, the testing began. First came the rocket tests, then command module tests, heat shields, engines, everything. And in February 1967, the first manned test, meaning astronauts would actually go into space, named Apollo 1. All dead. This ended very poorly, but they didn't stop there. They continued testing. Apollo 4, Apollo 5, and Apollo 6, all unmanned. Then in October 1968, Apollo 7. Once again, they attempted to send humans into space. And this time it succeeded. 2 months later, Apollo 8. 3 astronauts flew around the moon. In March 1969, Apollo 9 tested the lunar module, and by May 1969, Apollo 10 rehearsed the entire moon landing, except actually landing. And after all this testing, finally on 16 July 1969, Apollo 11 was launched.
2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
3 astronauts were part of this mission. Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins, Lunar Module Pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin. You might know Armstrong and Aldrin, but Collins, he's the least famous. And there's a very interesting reason why. I'll let you know in a bit. The Apollo 11 spacecraft was made of 3 parts: Command Module, Service Module, and Lunar Module. The first 2 parts together were called the CSM. The plan was, only the lunar module would land on the moon, then launch back up, reconnect to the CSM, and return to Earth. So it took just 10 minutes to reach the Earth's orbit. After 1.5 orbits, they fired the engine for the translunar injection, the move that sends you to the moon. And all these events happened just within 5 hours after launch. But after that, it actually took several days to reach the moon. Astronauts waited inside the spacecraft, played games, ate food, and slept.
Hey, can I tell you something man to man? Yeah, sure, man. Sometimes I fantasize about being kidnapped by a tribe of wild wolf girls, who then take me away to their den somewhere deep within the woods, and then I kinda hope that they all and over and over and over and over again, so I can their entire population. Shinji. What the fuck, man?
On 19 July 1969, after traveling 250,000 miles, Apollo 11 reached moon orbit. Then it had to split into 2. The command and service module separates from the lunar module. Michael Collins stays in the command module. Its nickname was Columbia. The lunar module's name was Eagle, and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were inside it. The command module was supposed to remain in moon orbit. Only the lunar module would land on the moon. That means only Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin would step on the moon, not Michael Collins. And maybe that's the reason you may not know much about him that well. Even though he didn't get to step on the moon, he was the most important person in this Apollo 11 mission, as he was the one responsible for reattaching the lunar module and bringing the spacecraft back to Earth. Around 8 p.m., the lunar module began landing on Moon automatically. But just at 150 meters above the surface, Neil Armstrong suddenly took manual control all over the lunar module. It turned out that the automatic moon landing system was landing them on some big chunky rocks, which were not suitable for landing. Now they needed a new landing site. After a bit, they decided to land 3 miles away from the actual landing site. But as they started to land, a massive alert system kicks in, and as Neil looks towards the alert, he saw the fuel gauge. Only 5% fuel was remaining.
100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. 5%. 185.
Seeing fuel this low, Mission Control started a 60-second countdown. Decide to land or abort the mission.
There's looking good, down a half.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
Stand by for 30.
4 forward.
30
Down a
seconds.
half. 30 seconds forward.
Finally, at just 10 seconds left, Armstrong sent a message to Earth.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, twang.
Then Neil Armstrong put on his spacesuit, opened the door, and took his first step on the moon. This moment was watched by 650 million people live on TV. His first words were,
"It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
Following him, Buzz Aldrin also stepped onto the moon. Even though this mission began because of the Cold War with the Soviet Union, they still had to do some science stuff for the next 2.5 hours. Collect rocks, take pictures, place instruments, and set up a television camera which transmitted the signal to Earth. They collected 23 kilograms of moon rocks, left an American flag and a plaque inscribed, "Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind." The lunar module had to stay on the moon for about 21 hours. After this, it had to take off and reconnect with the CSM. But for takeoff, they needed the ascent engine, and for that, they needed the arming switch, which Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin had already broken while climbing out earlier. And when they came back inside the lunar module, they realized how big of a blunder they had made. After this, they informed Mission Control about this whole situation and started to look for a solution. Interestingly, what's a switch? It's just a thing which completes an electrical circuit. And as Buzz Aldrin just realized this, he knew that he needed something to complete the circuit to start the engine again. So he looked around and saw a ballpoint pen. And surprisingly, he used the pen to complete the electrical circuit and reignite the engine. Finally, the lunar module reattached with the CSM, and the astronauts turned the spacecraft toward Earth. This mission might sound safe, but the risk of them dying was so high that the US president literally had prepared an alternate speech in case they died.
Do you know where my dad is?
He ended up dying, actually. He did some pills and drove into an embankment. But when I was young, he would shit in his yard and make me bury it.
But thankfully, this didn't happen. The command module safely descended into Earth's atmosphere, opened parachutes, and lands in the ocean. All 3 astronauts were safe and rescued by a ship. They made history. They were on the front page of every newspaper in the world. Just as Kennedy promised, a man landed on the moon and returned alive on Earth before the end of this decade. But wait, isn't it suspicious? The decade would have ended in 1970, but they did it all in 1969, just a year before. Did America fake the moon landing just to show they were superior than the Soviet Union? But honestly, that's bullshit. If America faked it to fool the world, the Soviets would never have accepted it. But in the Great Soviet Encyclopedia, 1970 to 1979, the moon landing is mentioned multiple times as a fact. They even called Apollo 11 the 3rd major event of the space age. First, Sputnik, 1957. Second, Yuri Gagarin, 1961. Third, the moon landing, 1969. So no, the moon landing wasn't fake. So if you like this video, please, please, please consider subscribing. I'm literally trying to get monetized.